Welcome back to VUDivulged. I'm Acha Chambers.
I'm Anthony Polkowski, and today we're doing another current events episode because, wow, there's a lot happening.
There's a lot
right
going
now,
on.
and we just felt like we had to get another one of these episodes out, and we do not have enough time in this episode to really go into full in-depth conversation on all the topics we're going to talk about today, but we're going to kind of, dive in just a little bit, let you guys know what's going on and how we see things as Homeland students who are going into the Homeland program and field. Like I said, we're just gonna with how much is going on today in recent events. Like, we're gonna just scratch the surface today.
There's a lot, but one thing we should start off with, especially like I said, Homeland, and it's very prevalent to the U.S. is the border. It's all been going down there, which is just a mess.
For those that don't know, Governor Abbott of Texas has basically, with the Texas and Mexican border, he has basically taken control. He is saying that, you know what, if the Biden administration is not going to do anything about the border, I will. So he called the Texas National Guard and several law enforcement agencies to help build a border along the Texas and Mexican border to help control the flow of illegal immigrants into the country. President Biden did take the case to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that it is the U.S. federal government that has jurisdiction over the border, and it is not up to the states. To which Governor Abbott basically responded with, well, if they're responsible for it, why aren't they taking care of it, in simple terms? And if they won't take care of it, we will. Okay. So even despite the federal Supreme Court saying it is not in his jurisdiction, he is doing it anyway. Many Texans are agreeing with their governor, and the agents that the Biden administration has sent saying we will arrest those who are building up the border, many of those agents are saying we will not be arresting them. So if you take out Texas, obviously, we have 49 other states, and of those 49 other states, 25 of them, so just over half of what's left, obviously.
A majority.
A majority, not, obviously not including
a huge
Texas,
one, but
has pledged their support to Texas and the actions of Governor Abbott. And some states have simply pledged that they agree, while others have flat out sent aid. I believe Florida has actually sent supplies and personnel over to help Texas. And Texas is putting up lots of razor wire. Rows and rows. And they're building a wall, down the border. And in the areas they haven't fully constructed yet, they're actually stacking shipping containers as a makeshift wall to slow down the traffic while they build it up.
Well, here we try not to be political and all. It gets messy then, but I don't understand how securing the border is political. In the day, when you're a country, your line in the sand is made. This is our territory. That's what make a country. You have borders.
This is where our laws take effect. That's where your laws take effect, right? It's,
I'm lost. I'm baffled. I'm guessing how did it got to? It's been going on for years now.
The topic of illegal immigrants has always been a very heated topic because America was founded essentially by immigrants. In the 1700s, when America was in its infancy, many of the people that started the 13 original colonies were because they didn't like the laws and rules of England, France, and whatever other countries. They didn't like those laws, so they came to America where, yes, we were technically under British control, but they didn't really have much influence, and we were more than less willing to, live at our own devices until they wanted to insert more control, and we fought the Revolutionary War, but that's a conversation. So, and then at the end of World War II, since most of the fighting took place in Europe and the Pacific, America's infrastructure was left relatively untouched. Our cities didn't face the bombing like Berlin and London and Paris or Tokyo.
Yeah.
So many people, refugees, came to America for a better life. And to this day, that's why I do truly believe that many of those immigrants, they're coming over the border because they want a better life. Mexico's owned by the cartels.
But in this day and age, it is very much different from what it was during that time, because there's always that security aspect, like who are these individuals?
Because cartel members, even terrorists
who have been caught, terrorists
a lot
have
of
been caught on the border.
Agents like Al Qaeda, for example, the group responsible for 9/11, they smuggled in their agents to launch an attack from within the United States. Everybody always says, well, they got access to the airplanes. Yes, but they got access to those airplanes in the United States. So that's, on one side you have people saying, well, we just need to monitor who's coming into the country. Because one student that I know here in the program, they voiced it as, I view the checkpoints at the border like the front door to my house. I welcome people to come, like my neighbors if they want to know me. But if I don't know who you are, I expect you to come knocking on my front door and say, hi, I'm whoever, not crawling through my bedroom window in the middle of the night, right? It's kind of that mindset. It's, I welcome you to the country, but I expect you to go through the border patrol checkpoints. That way we can make sure you're not a known terrorist that's trying to get into the country. You're not a well-known drug smuggler who's trying to get into this country to establish, a
new drug ring.
A new drug ring, yeah. So, on one hand you have that, and you have the, even sanctuary cities
they're being overflowed.
They're like, we can't do this anymore. These immigrants, they're being put in nice hotels, like really nice hotels.
Which
they get free food, they get phones, they get
which is starting a whole
and people, many Americans
that
are getting mad because they're like, hold on, we have homeless, and we're not. You're telling me we could have done this for all these immigrants, but we couldn't do it for the homeless? Like homeless veterans, that's a big problem, which is a topic for another day. When the Chinese president came to California, they cleaned up that whole city.
Yeah.
They cleaned it all up, but it's like, hold on, why? We can't clean it up for Americans, but we're cleaning it up for
gotta look good,
a foreign government?
Gotta look good,
Yeah.
It's like, like when you have your room, it's all dirty, it's whatever, but like when someone's coming over, you're like, I gotta clean it up.
And then people are upset with the fact that in some cases, in some places they have literally told kids not to go to school because they're going to use the schools as housing.
Oh, that's
and
great
for a lot of people, that was kind of like the final straw. It's like, hold on, I'm willing to help, people who desperately need help, but why are we sacrificing our child's education and the future of this country to house people that are here illegally? And then once again, you do have the other side where it's like, but these people need our help. And I agree with you that the vast majority of the people coming are probably most likely coming because they want a better life, right? They see the freedoms we have here in America that many Americans take for granted, like free speech, which we'll talk about here in a minute with another topic.
But at the same time, you need to do it the right way, because then they're just basically spitting in the face of the people who came here the right way. Like the immigrants that came before them, like, I went through all those years, did all this for nothing.
It's like, hold on.
I could have just did that.
Right, for those, I think to apply for American internship, I don't know the rules, but I think you have to live here for a certain amount of time. There's even a little history quiz of the United States.
Which I think is awesome.
So all those people who went through the process, they're like, hold on, I had to go through all of that, but these people can just walk across. And and it's very difficult because a border is really a line in the sand, right? It's like, here's America, here's Mexico, but I haven't crossed the border illegally until I pass the line, right? If I'm still technically in Mexican territory, I haven't violated the law yet.
Yeah, but there's this is a expansive topic that's getting worse, and well, of course, up to you guys, and especially when it comes to what Texas is doing and all that. But you kind of hinted at this topic, but I mean, I imagine some of you guys have heard. But Tucker Carlson went to Russia to speak to the president of Russia.
Putin, yes, and that is, you have both of those people. There's a bit of controversy surrounding them. Tucker Carlson with his political views, and Putin being the president of Russia and responsible for the, saying that Russia's influencing America elections and the war in Ukraine, and people are also confused because we had a reporter in Russia.
Yeah, like 20 years, something like that, or
his name was, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Evan Gersovich from the Wall Street Journal faces 20 years after being accused of espionage by the Russian authorities, and he has been incarcerated for almost over 100 days.
Journalism's not the safest, especially when you go overseas, which again makes you realize how good we have it here in America when it comes to free speech and things of that nature.
And one thing that really getting people concerned with the Tucker Carlson thing is a lot of reporters, when they go and leaders agree to an interview, they'll say, like, you can ask me questions, but they cannot relate to X topic, Y topic, Z topic. As long as it doesn't involve those three topics, I will answer any question. Based on what many reports say, Tucker Carlson is basically going to get the I can ask anything I want question or interview. And that has also sparked controversy. Like, hold on, why is he getting it? Because on one hand, it looks suspicious. But on the other hand, that's what journalism is.
Yeah,
we had, there was an American journalist that before 9/11 interviewed Osama bin Laden.
There was also one that interviewed Castro.
And one that interviewed Saddam Hussein. So it's not uncommon for journalists to interview world leaders because that's what journalism is. They document everything that happens. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's that's not good, but we got to write it down.
Though, it's just you learn more. Like this goes for anyone said. This goes on both sides. But the news nowadays, like I'm only 20, so as a kid I didn't watch the news, but I feel like it was not as political as it is now. Like I feel like when I watch the news, I feel like I'm being like lectured. Like just tell me what happened. I don't need to hear your opinion over it. I don't need you to lecture me. Just tell me this happened here, happened when.
And I think that's the problem with the Tucker Carlson thing going on right now. People are thinking it's a political statement, or it shows the colors of a political party. But, and that might be true. It could be. But it is also possibly true that he's just doing what a journalist is doing. And that's kind of both arguments. Like you said, one side sees it as it's political. But then the other side sees it as it's a journalist doing what journalists do. But it's like we've interviewed controversial people in the past before, like we mentioned Castro, Osama bin Laden. It's like we've interviewed them before, but
that was in the past, man.
But now I think it's a controversial figure interviewing a controversial figure that's really causing the real debate.
I mean, and I'm really excited for this because Putin has not been interviewed by a Western journalist in like 3 years.
So
this is especially if they ask like those hard questions. I hope for some hard questions because I kind of want to
I don't watch a lot of interviews. I kind of like to just dig around and look and see what's actually happened, because people can say one thing and
Yep.
then go do the other. But with this one, I think I'm really gonna wanna.
Doesn't that interview supposed to come out today, February 8th?
I believe so. I'm pretty sure it does. I think there was some talks that it might be delayed, but most reports do say that it's going to come out on the February 8th. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be one that I'll be tuning in on. All right, and then the last major thing that we are going to cover today is the situation of Ilhan Omar.
Is that the
Congresswoman of Minnesota? So for those that don't know, I kind of got to say this to build up what we're going into is she's a woman of Somalian descent.
Okay.
And a lot of Minnesotans or Somalians actually live in Minnesota.
Of all states?
It's weird, right? It's kind of it's. I don't really know how to explain it other than this way. When you go, a lot of big cities, they have Chinatown. Why? Because a lot of people from China they are in that area. Mm-hmm. Minnesota is kind of like that for Somalians. Not that there's not Somalians anywhere around.
Minnesota's kind of out there, though.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know why my mind.
I don't know why.
My mind kind of puts more like a coastal state.
Yeah.
That's where my mind went to at first. But what'd she do? What all is going on?
So, she is currently in Congress. Congress is actually calling for potentially her removal from Congress and being labeled as a traitor to the United States. As in an interview, not an interview, but at a rally at a hotel in Minnesota, she basically summarized her speech in saying, I'm a representative of Somalia first, not America. And that America will do what Somalians want them to do.
That's with her exact words?
Pretty much. It's...
I think that last bit is what gets me. I mean, I can see why that's controversial. Either side, one side say, oh, she was just, saying da, da, da. The other side would say, she's a U.S. congressperson.
Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of people, because her speech sounds a lot like she's here for Somalia. She's here for Somalia. It's look, we could understand, many Americans are saying, look, we understand that you could be saying we shouldn't be trampling over Somalia to achieve our goals. We shouldn't destroy one nation to build our nation. And that's understandable. But the way she's saying it is making it sound like I'm here for Somalia, not America. And it's at that point people are like, well, then why are you here?
Yeah. Oh, why don't go back to Somalia then and be a representative for your people? Maybe try to become an ambassador from the U.S. to Somalia. How do you even go about? You weren't voted into Congress by people from Somalia. You're voted into Congress by the people of the United States. I mean...
And that's a lot of, like I said, a lot of Americans, and even now Congress men and women are calling for her removal, saying that she is a traitor to the United States, using her words of, I am in Congress for Somalia. It's they're accusing her, and I say accuse because it hasn't been proven yet, guilty until...
Yep.
Innocent until proven guilty. They are accusing her that since she is being, she's saying Somalia first, that they're accusing her of being a double agent and being a foreign agent trying to persuade American government.
That's a good bit to try to prove.
And that's quite the accusation. And if it proves to be true, it's gonna get heated, without a doubt.
I mean, I think even if she was talking about just Somalians in the U.S., which I don't really think she was, how you're saying she said that, or how her words were. But, like, end of the day, Americans we're different groups. But we're all Americans in the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in Congress, I'm here for Germany or something. Don't say that. You're for all Americans. Mm-hmm. That's why you're in the U.S. You represent all the people.
Mm-hmm. And that's,
not just some subgroup.
Yeah, that's why one side sees it as, well, she was trying to say that we're trying to get this group to be represented in the government. But then the other side is hearing it as there's a foreign agent in here. It could be both. I could honestly see it with how she said it and how the speech went. I could see it both ways. Mm-hmm. Part of it is she's trying to say, hey, we need more Somalian representation in the government, which I understand. Like you said, America's made up of a lot of cultures, right? It's really a melting pot of different cultures.
But they were all Americans.
But we're all Americans. But then on the other hand, it also does sound like it's like, then why are you here? Because on one hand, saying I'm here for Somalia is, you could hear it as I'm here for Somalians, but then you could also hear I'm here for the country. It's like, then why are you here? So we will definitely have to keep our viewers updated on that and the Tucker Carlson event, because those two, they're currently happening right now. Both of these, I think, are only about 2 or 3 days old.
The border's
been going on for a while, but
it's going to keep going.
And we will keep you guys, of course, updated on the border as well. But we will definitely try to keep you updated as much as we can on the Tucker Carlson and Ilhan Omar's recently controversial speech, for lack of a better term. So that is all we have time for today. We hope you guys kind of got the general gist of what's going on right now. But like I said, we will definitely keep you all updated.
See you guys.